Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Josh here. Hey, we'll go straight into it. Let's look at my tier list of blue archive characters for you guys to look out for. So now obviously at the S and the A tiers we have the silver, the white-haired, and the dirty blonde waifus. Okay, they're just top tier. And then you have some like of the like blue-haired, red-horned devil girls. Those are pretty good too. We'll slap them in the A tier. And then obviously the black-haired girls are in the B tier. Black hair, B tier. C tier, it's all the redheads and the pink hairs. They're bottom tier. All right, they just aren't to snuff. Okay, and then the D tier, like they're just children. So yeah, there you guys go. That is my tier list of blue archive characters. You say I'm missing one category? Oh, of course. Of course. How could I forget the triple S category? How could I forget the triple S tier? There's only one character truly that makes the list, and that's Tsurugi. Okay. By far none the best character. For no apparent reason. I think she's just a great, spectacular overall unit that everybody needs to have in their account. Alright everybody, with all the jokes aside, welcome back to the channel. Josh here. Before we continue, make sure that you guys like and subscribe to the channel, as we will be rolling out more blue archive content up until the day of the release. Today, of course, we have finally my reroll tier list guide for blue archive. To give some clarifying points before we begin, of course, this list is compiled of different sources, whether that be looking at some wikis, whether that be, discussing some of the aspects within the Blue Archive Discord, or just, just the good old sight test of what I've seen of gameplay so far. Also, and this is the kind of final clarifying or disclaimer, these, of course, are my opinions of the characters from the stats and the gameplay that I've been able to see or experience. If there's any character that I completely miss out of this tier list, or that I get blatantly wrong, please let me know, because I do not want to be spreading any information to you guys. I want you guys to be getting the best content from this channel. So let me know in the comments down below. So later, I'm actually going to be creating a more refined tier list. Now, when it comes to this tier list, obviously there are way too many units to go over for a single video this short. I'll be going over some of the highlights of the characters that I think you guys should be focusing on today. This guy was made with these certain criteria in mind. First, are they user-friendly? Now, it's always great to start with units that are simpler, or that have, easier accessible kits. Having to adopt a niche playstyle isn't necessarily the most ideal when we're starting out, and especially if we've never had any experience with this style of gameplay, it's going to be a little bit hard. Second, future viability. Not only will we be looking at the characters that are easy to use, but we'll be looking at them in terms of mileage, and we'll see if they are able to withstand the test of time, or are they just going to be really, really good early game and then kind of fall off the cliff, when it gets to PvE or raids or any other late game content. With that being said, let us start with the S tier. Characters like Hina and Aru have been touted to be some of the best DPS in the game. Both are relatively strong long range and can deal truckloads of damage. These two are definitely higher tiered characters, as their damage and application of said damage are spectacular. Although it must be noted that Hina can fall off just a tad bit, both are still the premier units that you'll want to pick up at the start of the game. Next on this list is Hibiki. And this is a great opportunity to mention to all of you that there are certain roles within the Blue Archives team comp. The first are the 4 strikers that are actually on the field. Then there are 2 specialist roles, or special roles, who do not appear on the field and that are used for their abilities alone. Hibiki is one of those premier specialist characters. As a unit with the artillery class, you know that she's ready to deal tons of AoE damage, and with a regular skill and EX, her single target damage is no slouch either. She's quite versatile and excels in all game modes. Next is Karen, or Karin, or I'll just say Karin from now on, is another specialist class, and instead of the bombardment of AoE damage that Hibiki brings, Karin actually is a single target goddess, and she's able to use her abilities to actually buff her allies in the process. Although she does fall off a little bit compared to the previous special unit, she's still a spectacular unit to pull for early on. Finally, in S tier is Yuka. Yuka is a tank that has been noted to be one of the best defensive units in the game. The great thing is that you don't even have to re-roll for her. You actually get her for free at the start of the game. So I don't know why I have her on a tier list for re-rolling. But let's just say you can re-roll for her 100% of the time. So that's extra bonus points. You know what I mean? Right. Now, let's get to the A tiers. And honestly, for me, the A tiers are not even that far behind the S tiers, but just have 1 or 2 things that I think blemish their overall rating. First off, let's start with Shun. Shun is one of the best late game characters, and although not necessarily great for story runs, she is amazing in the other game modes, as she is dubbed by the Japanese community as the PvP Queen. Her ability to give skill points at the very beginning of rounds can be pivotal for many good early game starts. Next is Shiroko, the mascot of the game. This cat girl is literally on the damn cover of the game. Well, it's because she's very cute. The reason I've slid her down into A tier instead of S is because she doesn't perform as well as the crazy high-end tier units. Her DPS is honestly pretty comparable, but what makes her great is that she is actually the first highlighted banner unit right when we start off the game, making her statistically more obtainable than the rest. And also I hear that she's able to be obtained through hard shards. I believe that's through like other like end game missions or quests. So possibly if you don't necessarily want to roll for at the start, there are multiple ways in order to obtain this solid character. Next is Utaha. And Utaha is a 2-star mechanic, and she can summon a turret. This turret can act as a literal tank to take some damage while you focus more on outpouring huge DPS with your other characters. Now, it's not to say that the turret and Utaha are a substitute for tanks, but she can be utilized in that way. And being able to place her turrets almost anywhere on the field makes the utility of the turret insanely powerful. Tsubaki. Tsubaki is another 2-star unit that appears higher up on the list. She's literally survivability incarnate. Although she doesn't boast any supporting utility abilities to her team, she can still take damage, and to take a lot of it. She's arguably considered one of the best tanks in the game. Emi, or Amy, someone correct me, is another great tank, and is also free like Yuka. So we also get 2 amazing tank units to start off the game, and although DPS is what we realistically want to be re-rolling for, we get Emi 100% of the time, so I kind of just slid her up into the A tier. Yeah? Next, and finally on the A tier list is Fuka, the last character in the A tier slot. She is a 2-star unit and one of the best healers in the game. From her gameplay that I've seen, with her ability to place down food for other units to chase, like you have to actually physically have the unit walk over and grab her healing, it's actually an amazing tool to reposition units. It's a pretty advanced tactic when you get a better grip on the game, but it can be extremely useful. she has a really low floor in terms of, you know, her being easily picked up. And yet she still has such great utility that doesn't necessarily show up, you know, on paper or in the stat sheets. However, it must be said that her healing isn't the greatest, and it's not necessarily advised that you make her your primary healer if that's what you're looking for in the character. Next, let's head on to the B tier. B tier, we start off with Tsurugi. Tsurugi is top of the B tier for me because she is one of the best PvE characters out there. She has great usage when facing multiple units, and that summer skin. Next, we have a Haruna, and Haruna is this mystical vampire sniper character. She seems to do pretty decent in PvE, but shows up a ton as a counter in PvP. She is able to do some special type of damage called Mystic or Blue damage. Definitely more of a niche character, but can shine in later parts of the game as more enemies garner special armor. Next, we have Mashiro, the Gamba Queen. Her EX, which gets better as you level up, has a 50% chance at base to increase the scaling of the attack to over 1000% of her base attack, which is actually insane. An overall sweet unit if you like your chances. This student is one to grab. Next, I want to highlight Iori. Iori is a really solid unit, boasts some pretty good single target damage, and is amazing for PvE. Across the board, I've gotten a consensus that Iori is spectacular for pretty much any content in the game. So if you just want a really solid unit, Iori's your gal. We have Maki, and Maki is a boss killer, a literal boss killer. She loves to shred down smaller numbers of units, and she really shines in raid battle situations. We have Nonami. Nonami is an amazing DPS who's actually also FREE. Yes, free, baby. That means we're re-rolling this cutie 100% of the time. And she has damage that's actually comparable to some of the 3-star units in the game, which is actually pretty insane. That is going to be it for this tier list. I'm not necessarily going to talk about the C and D tiers, just because they're pretty solid units, but they don't really spell anything spectacular. But I did want to highlight some of the 3-star units that you wanted to avoid, mainly Izumi and Saya. Yeah. Alright, that's gonna be it for the tier list video. As you can see, I did add more units to the list that I talked about, so if you'd like to reference this list, feel free. I also plan on, again, revising this tier list in another video once the game comes out and I get a more hands-on experience with the units. With that being said, that is going to be it for this highlight tier list video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys would like to hit the like, thumbs up button, comment down below what you guys thought of my takes. Please be nice, because I'm also a beginner like you guys, so again, I would love any constructive criticism that you guys have. Also, remember to subscribe to see more content, as we'll be rolling out more tips, tricks, and guides for you guys to hit the ground running when we start Blue Archive, literally on Monday, which I can't believe it's so soon. The next video I plan on putting out is a small introduction to the basics of Blue Archive and what you guys want to be looking out for when it comes to doing the daily grinds and, you know, kickstarting your guys' account. Oh, also, I plan on doing a small giveaway via YouTube and Twitter, so make sure you guys look out for that. You guys should go also follow my Twitter, and I stream on Twitch, so I'll be streaming Blue Archive literally the Monday that this game comes out. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on those other platforms. Also join the Discord. With that being said, we'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Josh out.